Hello, welcome back. Strictly using only the Apocrypha translations, this is the Book of Adam and Eve, and again, as I keep proving, or showing, that everything I show, is, and always was, astrology, and the occult, and as a typologist, it is obvious a lot of the Quran has plagiarized many points from this book. The first book of Adam and Hawa. On the third day, Elohim planted the garden in the east of the earth, on the border of the world in the eastward direction, toward and beyond the rising sun. There one finds nothing but water that encompasses the whole world and reaches to the borders of the Shemaim. And to the north of the garden there is a sea of water, clear and pure, to the taste, unlike anything else, so that, through the clearness one may look into the depths of the earth. And when a man washes himself in it, he becomes perfectly clean and perfectly white, even if he were dark. And Elohim created that sea of his own good pleasure, for he knew what would come of the man. He would make so that after he had left the garden, because of his transgression, men should be born in the earth. Among them are righteous ones who will die, whose souls Elohim would raise at the last day, when all of them will return to their flesh, bathe in the water of that sea, and repent of their sins. But when Elohim caused Adam to go out of the garden, he did not place him on the border of it northward. This was so that he and Hawa would not be able to go near to the sea of water where they could wash themselves in it and be cleansed from their sins and erase the transgression they had committed, so that they be no longer reminded of it in the thought of their punishment. As to the southern side of the garden, Elohim did not want Adam to live there either, because, when the wind blew from the north, it would bring to him, on that southern side, the delicious smell of the trees of the garden. So Elohim did not put Adam there. This was so that he would not be able to smell the sweet smell of those trees and forget his transgression, and find consolation for what he had done by taking delight in the smell of the trees and yet not be cleansed from his transgression. Also, because Elohim is merciful and of great pity, and governs all things in a way that he alone knows, he made our father Adam to live in the western border of the garden, because on that side the land is very wide. And Elohim commanded him to live there in a cave in a rock. This was the cave of treasures, which is below the garden. But when our father Adam and Hawa went out of the garden, they walked the ground on their feet, not knowing where they were going. And when they came to the opening of the gate of the garden and saw the land spread before them widely, covered with stones large and small, and with sand, they feared and trembled, and fell on their faces from the fear that came over them, and they were as though they were dead. Until this time they had been in the garden land, beautifully planted with all manner of trees, and they now saw themselves in a strange land, which they did not know and had never seen. When they were in the garden they were filled with the grace of a bright nature, and they had hearts not turned toward earthly things. Therefore Elohim had pity on them, and when he saw them fallen before the gate of the garden, he sent his word to our father Adam, and to Hawa, and raised them from their fallen state. Elohim said to Adam, I have ordained days and years on this earth, and you and your descendants shall live and walk in them until the days and years are fulfilled. Then I shall send the word that created you and against which you have transgressed, the word that made you come out of the garden and that raised you when you were fallen. Yes, this is the word that will again save you when the 5.5 days are fulfilled. But when Adam heard these words from Elohim, and of the great 5.5 days, he did not understand the meaning of them. For Adam was thinking there would be only 5.5 days for him until the end of the world. And Adam cried and prayed to Elohim to explain it to him. Then Elohim, in his mercy for Adam, who was made after his own image and likeness, explained to him that these were 5,500 years, and how the One would then come and save him and his descendants. But before that, Elohim had made this covenant with our father Adam, in the same terms before he came out of the garden, when he was by the tree where Hawa took of the fruit and gave it to him to eat. Because, when our father Adam came out of the garden, he passed by that tree, and saw how Elohim had changed the appearance of it into another form, and how it had shriveled, and as Adam went to it he feared, trembled, and fell down. But Elohim in his mercy lifted him up and then made this covenant with him. Also, when Adam was by the gate of the garden he saw the cherub with a sword of flashing fire in his hand, and the cherub grew angry and frowned at him. Both Adam and Hawa became afraid of the cherub and thought he meant to put them to death. So they fell on their faces, trembling with fear. But he had pity on them, and showed them mercy. And turning from them went up to the Shemaim, and prayed unto Yahweh, and said, Yahweh, you send me to watch at the gate of the garden, with a sword of fire. But when your servants, Adam and Hawa, saw me, they fell on their faces, and were as dead. O Yahweh, what shall we do to your servants? Then Elohim had pity on them, and showed them mercy, and sent his messenger to keep the garden, and the word of Yahweh came to Adam and Hawa, and raised them up. And Yahweh said to Adam, I told you that at the end of the 5.5 days I will send my word and save you. Therefore, strengthen your heart and stay in the cave of treasures, of which I have spoken to you before. And when Adam heard this word from Elohim he was comforted with that which Elohim had told him. For he had told him how he would save him. But Adam and Hawa cried for having come out of the garden, which was their first home. And indeed, when Adam looked at his flesh he saw that it was altered, and he cried bitterly, he and Hawa cried, over what they had done. And they walked and went gently down into the cave of treasures. And as they came to it, Adam cried over himself and said to Hawa, Look at this cave that is to be our prison in this world, and a place of punishment. What is it compared with the garden? What is its narrowness compared with the space of the other? What is this rock compared of those groves? What is the gloom of this cave compared with the light of the garden? What is this overhanging ledge of rock that shelters us compared with the mercy of Yahweh that overshadowed us? What is the soil of this cave compared with the garden land? Does this earth, scattered with stones, compared to that garden planted with delicious fruit trees? And Adam said to Hawa, Look at your eyes, and at mine, which before beheld messengers, praising in the Shemaim without ceasing. Now we do not see as we did, our eyes have become of flesh, they cannot see like they saw before. Adam said again to Hawa, What is our body today, compared to what it was in former days, when we lived in the garden? After this, Adam did not want to enter the cave under the overhanging rock. He never wanted to enter it again. But he bowed to Elohim's commands and said to himself, Unless I enter the cave, I shall again be a transgressor. Then Adam and Hawa entered the cave, and stood praying, in their own tongue, unknown to us, but which they knew well. And as they prayed, Adam raised his eyes and saw the rock and the roof of the cave that covered him overhead. This prevented him from seeing either the Shemaim, or Elohim's creatures. So he cried and beat his chest hard, until he dropped, and was as dead. And Hawa sat crying, for she believed he was dead. Then she got up, spread her hands toward Elohim, appealing to him for mercy and pity, and said, O Elohim, forgive me my sin, the sin which I committed, and don't remember it against me. For I alone caused your servant to fall from the garden, into this condemned land, from light into this darkness, and from the house of joy into this prison. O Elohim, look at this your servant fallen in this manner, and bring him back to life, that he may cry and repent of his transgression which he committed through me. Don't take away his soul at this time, but let him live, so that he may stand after the measure of his repentance, and do your will, as before his death. But if you do not bring him back to life, then, O Elohim, take away my own soul, so that I will be like him, and leave me not in this dungeon alone, for I could not stand alone in this world without him. For you, O Elohim, caused him to fall asleep, and took a bone from his side, and placed the flesh back in its place by your divine power. And you took me, the bone, and made me, a woman, bright like him, with heart, reason, and speech and flesh like to his own, and you made me after the likeness of his looks, by your mercy and power. O Yahweh, He and I are one, and you, O Elohim, are our Creator. You are He who made us both in one day. Therefore, O Elohim, give him life so that he may be with me in this strange land while we live in it due to our transgression. But if you will not give him life, then take me, even me, like him, that we both may die the same day. And Hawa cried bitterly, and fell on our father, Adam, because of her great sorrow. But Elohim looked at them, for they had killed themselves through great grief. And he decided to raise them and comfort them. Therefore, he sent his word to them that they should stand and be raised immediately. And Yahweh said to Adam and Hawa, you transgressed of your own free will, until you came out of the garden in which I had placed you. Of your own free will, have you transgressed through your desire for divinity, greatness, and an exalted state, such as I have. Therefore I deprived you of the bright nature which you had then, and I made you come out of the garden to this land, rough and full of trouble. If only you had not transgressed my commandment, and had kept my Torah, and had not eaten of the fruit of the tree which I told you not to come near. And there were fruit trees in the garden better than that one. But the wicked Satan did not keep his faith and had no good intent towards me, and although I had created him, he considered me to be useless, and he sought the Almighty for himself. For this I hurled him down from the Shamayim so that he could not remain in his first estate. It was he who made the tree appear pleasant to your eyes until you ate of it by believing his words. Thus have you transgressed my commandment, and therefore I have brought on you all these sorrows. For I am Elohim the Creator, who, when I created my creatures, did not intend to destroy them. But after they had greatly roused my anger, I punished them with grievous plagues until they repent. But, if on the contrary they still continue hardened in their transgression, they shall be under a curse forever. When Adam and Hawa heard these words from Elohim, they cried and sobbed even more, but they strengthened their hearts in Elohim because they now felt that Yahweh was to them like a father and a mother, and for this very reason, they cried before him, and sought mercy from him. Then Elohim had pity on them, and said, O Adam, I have made my covenant with you, and I will not turn from it, neither will I let you return to the garden, until my covenant of the great 5.5 days is fulfilled. Then Adam said to Elohim, O Yahweh, you created us, and made us fit to be in the garden, and before I transgressed, you made all beasts come to me, that I should name them. Your grace was then on me, and I named everyone according to your mind, and you made them all subject to me. But now, O Yahweh Elohim, that I have transgressed your commandment, all beasts will rise against me and will devour me, and Hawa your handmaid, and will cut off our life from the face of the earth. I therefore beg you, O Elohim, that since you have made us come out of the garden, and have made us be in a strange land, you will not let the beasts hurt us. When Yahweh heard these words from Adam, he had pity on him, and felt that he had truly said that the beasts of the field would rise and devour him and Hawa, because he, Yahweh, was angry with the two of them because of their transgressions. Then Elohim commanded the beasts, and the birds, and all that moves on the earth, to come to Adam and to be familiar with him, and not to trouble him and Hawa nor any of the good and righteous among their offspring. Then all the beasts paid homage to Adam, according to the commandment of Elohim, except the serpent, against which Elohim was angry. It did not come to Adam, with the beasts. Then Adam cried and said, O Elohim, when we lived in the garden, and our hearts were lifted up, we saw the messengers, that sang praises in the Shamayim, but now we can't see like we once saw. No, when we entered the cave, all creation became hidden from us. Then Yahweh Elohim said to Adam, when you were under subjection to me, you had a bright nature within you, and for that reason could you see distant things. But after you transgressed, your bright nature was taken out of you, and it was not left in you to see distant things, but only things near to you, as is the ability of the flesh, for it is brutish." When Adam and Hawa had heard these words from Elohim, they went their way, praising and worshipping him with a sorrowful heart. And Elohim ceased communing with them. Then Adam and Hawa came out of the cave of treasures, and came near to the garden gate. That they stood and looked at it and cried for having gone away from it. And Adam and Hawa went south of the gate of the garden, to the side of it, and found that the water that watered the garden, which came from the root of the tree of high, and they saw that the water was split from there into 4 rivers, over the earth. Then they came near to that water and looked at it and saw that it was the water that came up from under the root of the tree of high, in the garden. And Adam cried and wailed, and beat his chest for being cut out from the garden, and said to Hawa, "Why have you brought so many of these plagues and punishments on me, on yourself, and on our descendants?" And Hawa said to him, "What is it you have seen that has caused you to cry and to speak to me in this manner?" And he said to Hawa, "Do you not see this water that watered the trees of the garden, and flowed out from the that was with us, in the garden? And when we were in the garden we did not care about it, but since we came to this strange land, we love it and turn it to use, for our body." But when Hawa heard these words from him, she cried, and from the soreness of their crying they fell into that water. They would have put an end to themselves in it, as never again to return and behold the creation. For when they looked at the work of creation, they felt they must put an end to themselves. Then Elohim, merciful and gracious, looked at them as they were lying in the water, and close to death, and he sent a messenger, who brought them out of the water and laid them on the seashore, as dead. Then the messenger went up to Elohim and said, "O Elohim, your creatures have breathed their last breath." Then Elohim sent his word to Adam and Hawa, who raised them from their death. And Adam said, after he was raised, "O Elohim, while we were in the garden we did not require or care about this water, but since we came to this land we cannot do without it." Then Elohim said to Adam, "While you were under my command and were a bright messenger, you did not experience this water, but now that you have transgressed my commandment, you cannot do without water to wash your body and make it grow, for it is now like that of beasts, and is in want of water." When Adam and Hawa heard these words from Elohim, they cried a bitter cry, and Adam entreated Elohim to let him return into the garden, and look at it a second time. But Elohim said to Adam, "I have made you a promise. When that promise is fulfilled, I will bring you back into the garden, you and your righteous descendants." And Elohim ceased to commune with Adam. Adam and Hawa then felt themselves burning with thirst, and heat, and sorrow. And Adam said to Hawa, "We shall not drink of this water even if we were to die. O Hawa, when this water comes into our inner parts it will increase our punishments and that of our descendants." Both Adam and Hawa then went away from the water, and drank none of it at all, but came and entered the cave of treasures. But when in it Adam could not see Hawa, he only heard the noise she made. Neither could she see Adam, but heard the noise he made. Then Adam cried in deep affliction, and beat his chest, and got up and said to Hawa, "Where are you?" And she said unto him, "Look, I am standing here in this darkness." He then said to her, "Remember the bright nature in which we lived, while we abode in the garden. O Hawa, remember the glory that rested on us in the garden. O Hawa, remember the trees that overshadowed us in the garden while we moved among them. O Acidilla Currentia, remember that while we were in the garden, we knew neither night nor day. Think of the tree of high, from below which flowed the water, and that shed splendor over us. Remember, O Hawa, the garden land, and the brightness of it. Think, think of that garden in which was no darkness, while we lived in it. But no sooner did we come into this cave of treasures, than darkness surrounded us all around until we can no longer see each other, and all the pleasure of this life has come to an end." Then Adam beat his chest, he and Hawa, and they mourned the whole night until the first light of dawn, and they sighed over the length of the night, in the 8th month, and Adam beat himself, and threw himself on the ground in the cave, from bitter grief, and because of the darkness, and lay there as dead. But Hawa heard the noise he made in falling on the ground. And she felt about for him with her hands and found him like a corpse. Then she was afraid, speechless, and she remained by him. But the merciful Yahweh looked on the death of Adam, and on Hawa's silence from fear of the darkness. And the word of Elohim came to Adam and raised him from his death, and opened Hawa's mouth that she might speak. Then Adam stood up in the cave and said, O Elohim, why has light departed from us and darkness covered us? Why did you leave us in this extensive darkness? Why do you plague us like this? And this darkness, O Yahweh, where was it before it covered us? It is because of this that we cannot see each other. For so long as we were in the garden we neither saw nor even knew what darkness was. I was not hidden from Hawa, neither was she hidden from me, until now that she cannot see me, and no darkness came over us to separate us from each other. But she and I were both in one bright light. I saw her and she saw me. Yet now since we came into this cave, darkness has covered us and separated us from each other, so that I do not see her, and she does not see me. O Yahweh, will you then plague us with this darkness? Then when Elohim, who is merciful and full of pity, heard Adam's voice, he said to him, O Adam, so long as the good messenger was obedient to me, a bright light rested on him and on his hosts. But when he transgressed my commandment, I dispossessed him of that bright nature, and he became dark. And when he was in the Shemaim, in the realms of light, he knew nothing of darkness. But he transgressed, and I made him fall from the Shemaim onto the earth, and it was this darkness that came over him. And, O Adam, while in my garden and obedient to me, that bright light rest also on you. But when I heard of your transgression, I took from you that bright light. Yet, of my mercy, I did not turn you into darkness, but I made your body a body of flesh, over which I spread this skin in order that it may bear cold and heat. If I had let my wrath fall heavily on you, I should have destroyed you, and had I turned you into darkness it would have been as if I had killed you. But in my mercy, I have made you as you are when you transgressed my commandment, O Adam. I drove you from the garden, and made you come forth into this land, and commanded you to live in this cave, and darkness covered you, as it did over him who transgressed my commandment. Thus, O Adam, has this night deceived you. It is not to last forever, but is only of 12 hours, when it is over daylight will return. Do not sigh or be moved, and do not say in your heart that this darkness is long and drags on wearily. Do not say in your heart that I plague you with it. Strengthen your heart and be not afraid. This darkness is not a punishment. Adam, I have made the day, and have placed the sun in it to give light, in order that you and your children should do your work. For I knew you would sin, and transgress, and come out into this land. Yet I wouldn't force you, nor be heard over you, nor shut up, nor doom you through your fall, nor through your coming out from light into darkness, nor yet through your coming from the garden into this land. For I made you of the light, and I willed to bring out children of light from you that were like you. But you did not keep my commandment one day until I had finished the creation, and Baru Asadilla micro everything in it. Then, concerning the tree, I commanded you not to eat of it. Yet I knew that Satan, who deceived himself, would also deceive you, so I made known to you by means of the tree, not to come near him. And I told you not to eat of the fruit thereof, nor to taste of it, nor yet to sit under it, nor to yield to it. Had I not spoken to you, O Adam, concerning the tree, and had I left you without a commandment and you had sinned, it would have been an offense on my part, for not having given you any order you would turn around and blame me for it. But I commanded you, and warned you, and you fell. So that my creatures cannot blame me, but the blame rests on them alone. And, O Adam, I have made the day so that you and your descendants can work and toil in it. and I have made the night for them to rest in it from their work and for the beasts of the field to go forth by night and look for their food. But little of darkness now remains, O Adam, and daylight will soon appear." Then Adam said to Elohim, "O Yahweh, take my soul and let me not see this gloom any more, or remove me to some place where there is no darkness." But Yahweh Elohim said to Adam, "I say to you, indeed, this darkness will pass from you every day. I have determined for you until the fulfillment of my covenant, when I will save you and bring you back again into the garden, and into the house of light, you long for, in which there is no darkness. I will bring you to it in the reign of the Shemayim." Again Elohim said to Adam, "All this misery that you have been made to take on yourself because of your transgression will not free you from the hand of Satan, and it will not save you. But I will. When my bench shall come down from the Shemayim, and shall become flesh of your descendants, and take on himself the infirmity from which you suffer, then the darkness that covered you in this cave shall cover him in the grave, when he is the flesh of your descendants. And he, who is without years, shall be subject to the reckoning of years, of times, of months, and of days, and he shall be reckoned as one of the sons of men in order to save you." And Elohim ceased to commune with Adam. Then Adam and Hawa cried and were sorrowful because of Elohim's word to them, that they should not return to the garden until the fulfillment of the days decreed on them, but mostly because Elohim had told them that his bench should suffer from their deliverance. After this, Adam and Hawa continued to stand in the cave, praying and crying, until the morning dawned on them. And when they saw the light return to them, they refrained from being afraid and strengthened their hearts. Then Adam came out of the cave. And when he came to the mouth of it and stood and turned his face towards the east, and saw the sunrise in glowing rays, and felt the heat thereof on his body, he was afraid of it and thought in his heart that this flame came forth to plague him. He then cried and beat his chest, and he fell on the ground on his face and made his appeal, saying, "O Yahweh, plague me not, neither consume me, nor yet take away my life from the earth." For he thought the sun was Elohim, because while he was in the garden and heard the voice of Elohim and the sound he made in the garden, and feared him, Adam never saw the brilliant light of the sun, neither did its flaming heat touch his body. Therefore he was afraid of the sun when flaming rays of it reached him. He thought Elohim meant to plague him with it all the days he had decreed for him. For Adam also said in his thoughts, that Elohim did not plague them with darkness, but he had caused this sun to rise and to plague them with burning heat. But while he was thinking like this in his heart, the word of Elohim came to him and said, "Adam, get up on your feet. This sun is not Elohim, but it has been created to give light by day, that I spoke to you about in the cave, saying, the dawn would come, and there would be light by day. But I am Elohim who comforted you in the night." And Elohim ceased to commune with Adam. Then Adam and Hawa came out at the mouth of the cave and went toward the garden. But as they went near the western gate, from which Satan came when he deceived Adam and Hawa, they found the serpent, that became Satan, coming at the gate, and it was sorrowfully licking the dust, and wiggling on its breast on the ground, because of the curse that fell on it from Elohim. Before the curse the serpent was the most exalted of all beasts. Now it was changed and become slippery and the meanest of them all, and it crept on its breast and went on its belly. Before, it was the fairest of all beasts. It had been changed and became the most ugly of them all. Instead of feeding on the best food, now it turned to eat the dust. Instead of living as before, in the best places, now it lived in the dust. It had been the most beautiful of all beasts, and all stood speechless at its beauty. It was now abhorred of them. And, again, whereas it lived in a beautiful home, to which all other animals came from everywhere, and where it drank, they drank also of the same. Now, after it had become venomous, by reason of Elohim's curse, all beasts fled from its home and would not drink of the water it drank, but fled from it. When the accursed serpent saw Adam and Hawa, it swelled its head, stood on its tail, and with eyes blood red, it acted like it would kill them. It made straight for Hawa and ran after her while Adam stood by and yelled because he had no stick in his hand with which to hit the serpent, and did not know how to put it to death. But with a heart burning for Hawa, Adam approached the serpent, and held it by the tail. When it turned towards him and said to him, "O Adam, because of you and Hawa I am slippery, and go on my belly." Then with its great strength it threw down Adam and Hawa and squeezed them, and tried to kill them. But Elohim sent a messenger, who threw the serpent away from them, and raised them up. Then the word of Elohim came to the serpent, and said to it, "The first time I made you slick, and made you to go on your belly, but I did not deprive you of speech. This time, however, you will be mute, and you and your race will speak no more, because the first time my creatures were ruined because of you, and this time you tried to kill them." Then the serpent was struck mute, and it was no longer able to speak, and a wind blew down from the Shemaim, by the command of Elohim, and carried away the serpent from Adam and Hawa and threw it on the seashore where it landed in India. But Adam and Hawa cried before Elohim. And Adam said to him, "O Yahweh, when I was in the cave I said this to you, Yahweh, the beasts of the field would rise and devour me, and cut off my life from the earth." Then Adam, because of what had happened to him, beat his chest and fell on the ground like a corpse. Then the word of Elohim came to him, who raised him, and said to him, "O Adam, not one of these beasts will be able to hurt you, because I have made the beasts, and other moving things, come to you in the cave. I did not let the serpent come with them, because it might have risen against you, and made you tremble, and the fear of it should fall into your hearts. I knew that the accursed one is wicked, therefore I would not let it come near you with the other beasts. But now strengthen your heart and fear not. I am with you to the end of the days I have determined for you." Then Adam cried and said, "O Elohim, take us away to some other place, where the serpent cannot come near us again, and rise against us. For I fear that it might find your handmaid Hawa alone and kill her, for its eyes are hideous and evil." But Elohim said to Adam and Hawa, "Don't be afraid. From now on, I will not let it come near you. I have driven it away from you and from this mountain. I will not leave in it the ability to hurt you." Then Adam and Hawa worshipped before Elohim and gave him thanks and praised him for having delivered them from death. Then Adam and Hawa went in search of the garden. And the heat beat like a flame on their faces, and they sweated from the heat. And they cried before Yahweh. But the place where they cried was close to a high mountain top that faced the western gate of the garden. Then Adam threw himself down from the top of that mountain. His face was torn and his flesh was ripped, and he lost much of his blood and was close to death. Meanwhile Hawa remained standing on the mountain crying over him lying as he was. And she said, "I don't wish to live after him, for all that he did to himself was because of me." Then she threw herself after him and was torn and ripped by stones and remained lying as dead. But the merciful Elohim, who looks over his creatures, looked at Adam and Hawa as they lay dead, and he sent his word to them and raised them. And said to Adam, "O Adam, all this misery, which you have brought on yourself, will have no effect on my ruling, neither will it alter the covenant of the 5,500 years." Then Adam said to Elohim, "I dry up in the heat, I am faint from walking, and I don't want to be in this world. And I don't know when you will let me rest and take me out of it." Then Yahweh Elohim said to him, "O Adam, it cannot be now, not until you have ended your days. Then I shall bring you out of this miserable land." And Adam said to Elohim, "While I was in the garden I knew neither heat, nor fatigue, neither transience, nor trembling, nor fear, but now since I came to this land, all this affliction has come over me." Then Elohim said to Adam, "So long as you were keeping my commandment, my light and my grace rested on you. But when you transgressed my commandment, sorrow and misery came to you in this land. And Adam cried and said, O Yahweh, do not cut me off for this, neither punish me with heavy plagues, nor yet repay me according to my sin, for we, of our own will, transgressed your commandment and ignored your Torah, and tried to become Elohim like you, when Satan the enemy deceived us. Then Elohim said again to Adam, because you have endured fear and trembling in this land of fatigue and suffering, treading and walking about, going on this mountain, and dying from it, I will take all this on myself in order to save you. Then Adam cried more and said, O Elohim, have mercy on me and do not take on yourself that which I will do. But Elohim withdrew his word from Adam and Hawa. Then Adam and Hawa stood on their feet, and Adam said to Hawa, Strengthen yourself, and I also will strengthen myself. And she strengthened herself as Adam told her. Then Adam and Hawa took stones and placed them in the shape of an altar, and they took leaves from the trees outside the garden, with which they wiped from the face of the rock the blood they had spilled. But that which had dropped on the sand they took together with the dust with which it was mixed and offered it on the altar as an offering to Elohim. Then Adam and Hawa stood under the altar and cried, praying to Elohim, Forgive us our offense and our sin, and look at us with your eye of mercy. For when we were in the garden our praises and our hymns went up before you without ceasing. But when he came into this strange land, pure praise was no longer ours, nor righteous prayer, nor understanding hearts, nor sweet thoughts, nor wise judgment, nor long discernment, nor upright feelings, neither was our bright nature left within us. But our body is changed from the likeness in which it was at first when we were created. Yet now look at our blood which is offered on these stones, and accept it at our hands as if it were the praise we used to sing to you at first when we were in the garden. And Adam began to make more requests of Elohim. Then the merciful Elohim, who is good and a lover of men, looked at Adam and Hawa and at their blood, which they had held up as an offering to him, without an order from him, for so doing. But he wondered at them and accepted their offering. And Elohim sent from his presence a bright fire that consumed their offering. He smelled the sweet savor of their offering and showed them mercy. Then the word of Elohim came to Adam, and said to him, O Adam, as you have shed your blood, so will Migbar shed his own blood, when he becomes flesh of your descendants. And as you died, O Adam, so also will he die. And as you built an altar, so also will I make for you an altar of the earth, and as you offered your blood on it, so also will I offer Migbar's blood on an altar on the earth. And as you appealed for forgiveness through that blood, so also will I make his blood forgiveness of sins, and erase transgressions in it. And now, behold, I have accepted your offering, O Adam, but the days of the covenant in which I have bound you are not fulfilled. When they are fulfilled, then will I bring you back into the garden. Now, therefore, strengthen your heart. And when sorrow comes over you, make me an offering, and I will be favorable to you. But Elohim knew that Adam believed he would frequently kill himself, and make an offering to him of his blood. Therefore he said to him, Adam, don't ever kill yourself like this again, by throwing yourself down from that mountain. But Adam said to Elohim, I was thinking to put an end to myself right now for having transgressed your commandments, and for my having come out of the beautiful garden, and for the bright light which you have taken from me, and for the praises which poured out from my mouth without ceasing, and for the light that covered me. Yet because of your goodness, O Elohim, you did not get rid of me altogether, but you have been favorable to me every time I die, and you bring me to life. And thereby it will be made known that you are a merciful Elohim, who does not want anyone to perish, who would love it if no one should fall, and who does not condemn anyone cruelly, badly, or by total destruction. Then Adam remained silent. And the word of Elohim came to him and barak him and comforted him and covenanted with him that he would save him, at the end of the days determined for him. This, then, was the first offering Adam made to Elohim, and so it became his custom to do. Then Adam took Hawa and they began to return to the cave of treasures, where they lived. But when they got closer to it and saw it from a distance, heavy sorrow fell on Adam and Hawa when they looked at it. Then Adam said to Hawa, "When we were on the mountain we were comforted by the word of Elohim that talked with us, and the light that came from the east shone over us. But now the word of Elohim is hidden from us, and the light that shined over us has changed, so much that it has disappeared and let darkness and sorrow cover us. And we are forced to enter this cave, that is like a prison, in which darkness covers us so that we are separated from each other. You cannot see me. I cannot see you." When Adam had said these words, they cried and spread their hands before Elohim because they were full of sorrow. And they prayed to Elohim to bring the sun, for them to shine on them so that darkness would not return to them and that they wouldn't have to go under this covering of rock. They wanted to die rather than see the darkness. Then Elohim looked at Adam and Hawa and at their great sorrow and all they had done with a fervent heart because of all the trouble they were in. When compared to their former state of well-being, all the misery that came over them did so in this strange land. Therefore Elohim was neither angry with them nor impatient, but he was patient and long-suffering toward them, as toward the children he had created. Then the word of Elohim came to Adam and said to him, "Adam, regarding the sun, if I were to take it and bring it to you, days, hours, years, and months would all stop, and the covenant I have made with you would never be fulfilled. And you would be deserted and stuck in a perpetual plague, and you would never be saved. Yes, rather, bear up long, and calm your soul while you live night and day until the fulfillment of the days and the time of my covenant has come. Then I shall come and save you, Adam. I do not wish for you to be afflicted. And when I look at all the good things that you lived in before, and why you came out of them, then I am willing to show you mercy. But I cannot alter the covenant that has gone out of my mouth, otherwise I would have brought you back into the garden. However, when the covenant is fulfilled, then I will show you and your descendants mercy, and bring you into a land of gladness where there is neither sorrow nor suffering but abiding joy and gladness, and light that never fails, and praises that never cease, and a beautiful garden that shall never pass away." And Elohim said again to Adam, "Be patient and enter the cave, because of the darkness of which you were afraid shall only be 12 hours long. When it is over, light will come up." Then when Adam heard these words from Elohim, he and Hawa worshipped before him, and their hearts were comforted. They returned into the cave after their custom, while tears flowed from their eyes, sorrow and wailing came from their hearts, and they wished their soul would leave their body. And Adam and Hawa stood praying until the darkness of night covered them, and Adam was hidden from Asadillah and she from him. And they remained standing in prayer. Satan, the hater of all that is good, saw how they continued in prayer, and how Elohim communed with them, and comforted them, and how he had accepted their offering. Then Satan made a phantasm. He began by transforming his hosts. In his hands was a shining, glimmering fire, and they were in a huge light. Then he placed his throne near the mouth of the cave, because he could not enter it due to their prayers. And he shone light into the cave until the cave glistened over Adam and Hawa while his hosts began to sing praises. Satan did this so that when Adam saw the light, he would think to himself that it was a light of the Shemayim, and that Satan's hosts were messengers, and that Elohim had sent them to watch at the cave, and give him light in the darkness. Satan planned that when Adam came out of the cave and saw them, and Adam and Hawa bowed to Satan, then he would overcome Adam and humble him before Elohim a second time. When, therefore, Adam and Hawa saw the light, thinking it was real, they strengthened their hearts. Then, as they were trembling, Adam said to Hawa, "Look at that great light, and at those many songs of praise, and at that host standing outside who won't come into our cave. Why don't they tell us what they want or where they are from or what the meaning of this light is or what those praises are or why they have been sent to this place, and why they won't come in? If they were from Elohim, they would come into the cave with us and would tell us why they were sent. Then Adam stood up and prayed to Elohim with a burning heart, and said, O Yahweh, is there in the world another Elohim besides you, who created messengers, and filled them with light, and sent them to keep us, who would come with them? But, look, we see these hosts that stand at the mouth of the cave. They are in a great light, and they sing loud praises. If they are of some other Elohim than you, tell me, and if they are sent by you, inform me of the reason for which you have sent them. No sooner had Adam said this, than a messenger from Elohim appeared to him in the cave, who said to him, O Adam, fear not. This is Satan and his hosts. He wishes to deceive you, as he deceived you at first. For the first time, he was hidden in the serpent, but this time he has come to you in the likeness of a messenger of light, in order that, when you worshipped him, he might enslave you in the very presence of Elohim. Then the messenger went from Adam, and seized Satan, at the opening of the cave, and stripped him of the false image he had assumed, and brought him in his own hideous form to Adam and Hawa, who were afraid of him when they saw him. And the messenger said to Adam, This hideous form has been his ever since Elohim made him fall from the Shemayim, he could not have come near you in it. Therefore, he transformed himself into a messenger of light. Then the messenger drove Satan and his hosts away from Adam and Hawa, and said to them, Fear not. Elohim who created you will strengthen you. And the messenger left them. But Adam and Hawa remained standing in the cave, and no consolation came to them as they were divided in their thoughts. And when it was morning they prayed and then went out to seek the garden, for their hearts were seeking it, and they could get no consolation for having left it. But when the crafty Satan saw that they were going to the garden, he gathered together his host and came in appearance on a cloud, intent on deceiving them. But when Adam and Hawa saw him in a vision, they thought they were messengers of Elohim come to comfort them about having left the garden, or to bring them back again into it. And Adam spread his hands before Elohim, begged him to make him understand what they were. Then Satan, the hater of all that is good, said to Adam, O Adam, I am a messenger of the great Elohim, and behold the hosts that surround me. Elohim has sent us to take you and bring you to the northern border of the garden, to the shore of the clear sea, and bathe you and Hawa in it, and raise you to your former joy, that you return to the garden once again. These words sank into the heart of Adam and Hawa. Yet Elohim withheld his word from Adam, and did not make him understand at once, but waited to see his strength and whether he would be overcome as a Sidil occurrence was when in the garden, or whether he would win this battle. Then Satan called to Adam and Hawa and said, Behold, we go to the sea of water, and they began to go. And Adam and Hawa followed them at little distance. But when they came to the mountain to the north of the garden, which was a very high mountain without any steps to the top of it, the devil came near to Adam and Hawa, and made them go up to the top in reality and not in a vision, because he wished to throw them down and kill them, and to wipe their names from the earth, so that this earth should belong to him and his hosts alone. But when the merciful Elohim saw that Satan wished to kill Adam with his many tricks, and saw that Adam was meek and without guile, Elohim spoke to Satan in a loud voice, and cursed him. Then he and his hosts fled, and Adam and Hawa remained standing on the top of the mountain. From there they saw below them the wide world, high above which they were. But they saw none of the host which time after time were by them. They cried, both Adam and Hawa, before Elohim, and begged for forgiveness of him. Then the word from Elohim came to Adam, and said to him, You must know and understand concerning this Satan, that he seeks to deceive you and your descendants after you. And Adam cried before Yahweh, Elohim, and begged and prayed to him to give him something from the garden, as a token to him, wherein to be comforted. And Elohim considered Adam's thought, and sent the messenger Michael, as far as the sea that reaches India, to take from the golden rods, and bring them to Adam. This Elohim did in his wisdom in order that these golden rods, being with Adam in the cave, should shine forth with light in the night around him, and put an end to his fear of the darkness. Then the messenger Michael went down by Elohim's order, took golden rods, as Elohim had commanded him, and brought them to Elohim. After these things, Elohim commanded the messenger Gabriel to go down to the garden and say to the cherub who kept it, "Behold, Elohim has commanded me to come into the garden, and to take from it sweet-smelling incense and give it to Adam." Then the messenger Gabriel went down by Elohim's order to the garden, and told the cherub as Elohim had commanded him. The cherub then said, "This is acceptable." And Gabriel went in and took the incense. Then Elohim commanded his messenger Raphael to go down to the garden, and speak to the cherub about some myrrh to give to Adam. And the messenger Raphael went down and told the cherub as Elohim had commanded him, and the cherub said, "This is acceptable." Then Raphael went in and took the myrrh. The golden rods were from the Indian Sea, where there are precious stones. The incense was from the eastern border of the garden, and the myrrh from the western border, from where bitterness came over Adam. And the messengers brought these things to Elohim, by the tree of Hai, in the garden. Then Elohim said to the messengers, "Dip them in the spring of water, then take them and sprinkle their water over Adam and Hawa, that they should be a little comforted in their sorrow, and give them to Adam and Hawa." And the messengers did as Elohim had commanded them, and they gave all those things to Adam and Hawa on the top of the mountain on which Satan had placed them, when he sought to make an end of them. And when Adam saw the golden rods, the incense and the myrrh, he rejoiced and cried because he thought that the gold was a token of the rain from where he had come, and the incense was a token of the bright light which had been taken from him, and that the myrrh was a token of the sorrow which he was in. After these things happened, Elohim said to Adam, "You asked me for something from the garden to be comforted with, and I have given you these 3 tokens as a consolation to you, so that you trust in me and in my covenant with you. For my Ba'en will come and save you, and when he is in the flesh, sovereigns shall bring him gold, incense, and myrrh. Gold is a token of my reign, incense is a token of my divinity, and myrrh is a token of my Ba'en's suffering and of my Ba'en's death. But, Adam, put these by you in the cave, the gold so that it may shine light over you by night, the incense so that you smell its sweet savor, and the myrrh to comfort you in your sorrow." When Adam heard these words from Elohim, he worshipped before him, he and Hawa worshipped him and gave him thanks because he had dealt mercifully with them. Then Elohim commanded the 3 messengers, Michael, Gabriel and Raphael, each to bring what he had brought and give it to Adam. And they did so, one by one. And Elohim commanded Zuriel and Salathiel to bear up Adam and Hawa, and bring them down from the top of the high mountain, and to take them to the cave of treasures. That they laid the gold on the south side of the cave, the incense on the eastern side, and the myrrh on the western side. For the mouth of the cave was on the north side. The messengers then comforted Adam and Hawa, and departed. The gold was 70 rods. The incense was 12 pounds, and the myrrh was 3 pounds. These remained by Adam in the cave of treasures, in the house of treasures. Therefore was it called a cave of concealment. And it was called the a cave of treasures, by reason of the bodies of righteous men that were in it. Elohim gave these 3 things to Adam on the 3rd day after he had come out of the garden, as a sign of the 3 days Yahweh should remain in the heart of the earth. And these 3 things, as they continued with Adam in the cave, gave him light by night, and by day they gave him a little relief from his sorrow. And Adam and Hawa remained in the cave of treasures until the 7th day. They neither ate of the fruit of the earth, nor drank water. And on the 8th day, when it dawned, Adam said to Hawa, "Hawa, we prayed Elohim to give us something from the garden, and he sent his messengers who brought us what we had desired. But now, get up, and let us go to the sea of water we saw at first, and let us stand in it and pray that Elohim will again be favorable to us and take us back to the garden, or give us something, or that he will give us comfort in some other land than this one we are in." Then Adam and Hawa came out of the cave and went and stood on the border of the sea in which they had thrown themselves before. Then Adam said to Hawa, "Come, go down into this place, and do not come out until the end of 30 days, when I shall come to you. And pray to Elohim with burning heart and a sweet voice to forgive us. And I will go to another place, and go down into it and do like you." Then Hawa went down into the water as Adam had commanded her. Adam also went down into the water, and they stood praying, and besought Yahweh to forgive them their offense and to restore them to their former state. And they stood like that praying until the end of the 35 days. But Satan, the hater of all that is good, sought them in the cave, but did not find them although he searched diligently for them. But he found them standing in the water praying and thought within himself, Adam and Hawa are standing like that in that water praying to Elohim to forgive them their transgression, and to restore them to their former state, and to take them from under my hand. But I will deceive them so that they shall come out of the water, and not fulfill their vow. Then the hater of all that is good, did not go to Adam, but he went to Asadillah Karantsiwa, and took the form of a messenger of Elohim, praising and rejoicing, and he said to her, "Peace be to you. Be glad and rejoice. Elohim is favorable to you and he sent me to Adam. I have brought him the glad tidings of deliverance and of his being filled with bright light as he was at first. And Adam, in his joy for his restoration, has sent me to you so that you would come with me in order that I might crown you with light like him. And he said to me, Speak to Hawa if she does not come with you, tell her of the sign when we were on the top of the mountain, how Elohim sent his messengers who took us and brought us to the cave of treasures, and laid the gold on the southern side, incense on the eastern side, and myrrh on the western side. Now come to him." When Hawa heard these words from him, she rejoiced much. And thinking Satan's appearance was real, she came out of the sea. He went first and she followed him until they came to Adam. Then Satan hid himself from her and she saw him no more. She then came and stood before Adam, who was standing by the water, and she rejoiced in Elohim's forgiveness. And as she called to him, he turned around and found her there and cried when he saw her and beat his chest from the bitterness of his grief. He sank into the water. But Elohim looked at him and at his misery and that he was about to breathe his last breath. And the word of Elohim came from the Shemaim, raised him out of the water, and said to him, "Go up the high bank to Hawa." And when he came up to Hawa he said to her, "Who told you to come here?" Then she told him the discourse of the messenger who had appeared to her and had given her a sign. But Adam grieved, and explained to her that it was Satan. He then took her and they both returned to the cave. These things happened to them the second time they went down to the water 7 days after their coming out of the garden. They fasted in the water 35 days. It was altogether 42 days since they had left the garden. On the morning of the 43rd day, they came out of the cave, sorrowful and crying. Their bodies were lean, and they were parched from hunger and thirst, from fasting and praying, and from their heavy sorrow because of their transgression. And when they had come out of the cave they went up the mountain to the west of the garden. There they stood and prayed and asked Elohim to grant them forgiveness of their sins. And after their prayers Adam began to beg Elohim, saying, "O Yahweh, my Elohim, and my Creator, you commanded the 4 elements to be gathered together, and they were gathered together by your order. Then you spread your hand and created me out of one element, that of dust of the earth. You brought me into the garden at the 3rd hour, on a 6th day, and informed me of it in the cave. Then, at first, I knew neither night nor day, because I had a bright nature so that the light in which I lived ever left me to know night or day. Then, again, O Yahweh, in that 3rd hour in which you created me, you brought to me all beasts, and lions, and ostriches, and fowls of the air, and all things that move and the earth, which you had created at the 1st hour before me of the 6th day. and your will was that I should name them all, one by one, with a suitable name. But you gave me understanding and knowledge and a pure heart and a right mind from you, that I should name them after your own mind regarding the naming of them. O Elohim, you made them obedient to me and ordered that not one of them break from my control according to your commandment and to the dominion which you had given me over them. But now they are all estranged from me. Then it was in that third hour of sixth day, in which you created me, and commanded me concerning the tree, to which I was neither to go near, nor to eat from, because you said to me in the garden, when you eat of it, from death you shall die. But if you had punished me as you said, with death, I should have died that very moment. When you commanded me regarding the tree, that I was neither to approach nor to eat of it, Acidilla was not with me. You had not yet created her, neither had you yet taken her out of my side, so had she yet heard this order from you. Then, at the end of the third hour of that sixth day, O Yahweh, you caused a sleep to come over me, and I slept, and was overwhelmed in sleep. Then you took a rib out of my side and you created her after my own likeness and image. Then I awoke, and when I saw her and knew who she was, I said, this is bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. From now on she shall be called woman. It was of your good will, O Elohim, that you brought a sleep over me and that you quickly drew her out of my side until she was fully out, so that I did not see how she was made, neither could I witness. O Yahweh, your goodness and glory are awful and great. And of your good will, O Yahweh, you made us both with bodies of a bright nature, and you made the two of us one. You gave us your grace and filled us with praises of the Ruach Kodesh, that we should be neither hungry nor thirsty nor know what sorrow is, nor know faintness of heart, neither suffering, fasting nor weariness. But now, O Elohim, since we transgressed your commandment and broke your Torah, you have brought us out into a strange land, and have caused suffering, faintness, hunger and thirst to come over us. Now, therefore, O Elohim, we pray you, give us something to eat from the garden, to satisfy our hunger with it, and something wherewith to quench our thirst. For, behold, many days, O Elohim, we have tasted nothing and drunk nothing, and our flesh has dried up and our strength is wasted. Sleep is gone from our eyes from faintness and crying. Then, O Elohim, we dare not gather anything from the fruit of trees, from fear of you. For when we transgressed the first time you spared us and did not make us die. But now, we thought in our hearts that if we eat the fruit of the trees without Elohim's order he will destroy us this time and will remove us from the earth. And if we drink of this water without Elohim's order he will make an end of us and root us up at once. Now, therefore, O Elohim, I have come to this place with Acidilla, and we beg you to give us some fruit from the garden so that we may be satisfied with it. For we desire the fruit that is on the earth and all else that we lack in it. Then Elohim looked again at Adam and his crying and groaning, and the word of Elohim came to him, and said to him, Adam, when you were in my garden, you knew neither eating nor drinking, faintness nor suffering, leanness of flesh, nor change, neither did sleep depart from your eyes. But since you transgressed and came into this strange land, all these trials have come over you. Then Elohim commanded the cherub, who guarded the gate of the garden with a sword of fire in his hand, to take some of the fruit of the fig tree and to give it to Adam. The cherub obeyed the command of Yahweh Elohim and went into the garden and brought 2 figs on 2 twigs, each fig hanging to its leaf. They were from 2 of the trees among which Acidilla and Acidilla hid themselves when Elohim went to walk in the garden, and the word of Elohim came to Adam and Acidilla and said to them, Adam, Acidilla, where are you? And Adam answered, O Elohim, here I am. When I heard the sound of you and your voice, I hid myself, because I am naked. Then the cherub took 2 figs and brought them to Adam and Hawa. But he threw the figs to them from a distance because they would not come near the cherub.